It looks like a potential deal between Mercedes Moné and AEW may have fallen through, with speculation ramping up that she could be on her way back to WWE. What went wrong in her dealings with AEW? Where could she end up? How soon could this happen? We have a little bit of insight into some of that. I'm going to let you know what we know so far. Before I do, though, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so obviously Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks in WWE, has really taken the wrestling world by storm ever since herself and Trinity Fatu stormed out of WWE back in May of 2022. We all remember they put the tag team titles allegedly on John Laurinaitis' desks and said that they're done, and they walked out of the company. Now Trinity is the Knockouts champion in Impact Wrestling. Mercedes is on the shelf but had been making a splash in New Japan earlier this year, with a lot of speculation that she was going to end up in AEW. There were even reports that Mercedes was already in discussions and had plans to be with AEW. Well, according to FightfulSelect.com, Sean Ross Sapp and company say that looks like it's no longer the case. So, according to FightfulSelect.com, working plans for Mercedes Moné and AEW seem to have fallen through, and they don't exist anymore. The report also indicates that apparently one of the reasons behind this was that the two sides were far apart on terms for a deal. Currently, I should say, it's unknown whether it was financially far apart, or through booking, schedule, or what have you, but for whatever reason, one way or another, there seemed to be a disconnect here between Mercedes Moné and AEW, and it looks like as of right now, there is no deal in place. There were also reports, I should say, by Fightful that noted that a return to WWE is still possible. However, as of right now, WWE Creative have not been told to produce any plans for Mercedes Moné, so it would suggest that a deal is not close. I will add the caveat that, well, yes, that is true, that Creative, if there were discussions going on, Creative would at least have an inkling in that. We also have to remember that, man, CM Punk signed the day of, or just the days leading up to that deal was agreed to. So, and Creative had no idea about that. So, again, these things can develop very quickly and happen, be put together very fast. But at the end of the day, it is going to come down to two things. One, Mercedes Moné's health. Is she healthy enough to go back to professional wrestling right now? She will be eventually, but when that time is, we'll see. And number two, and bigger, and which matters more, is does she want to go back to WWE? Does she want to go to AEW? Does she want to stay independent and maybe do other things and try other avenues in Hollywood, as the kids say, or as Mark Henry said in 2006 when he decided to leverage WWE for money, and it worked. He said, "I'm going to Hollywood," and they were like, "Oh, Vince just paid him a lot of money." True story. Anyway, back to Mercedes. I will also add that, no matter what she does, right? If she debuts in AEW, it's going to be a massive splash, and it's going to create a lot of buzz, and it could help elevate that women's division if AEW books it correctly. On the flip side, if she signs with WWE, it adds to an already stacked roster of wrestlers at a time where WWE is as hot as it's ever been, as far as the amount of people they're getting to come and watch the shows. They're also bringing in more profit, more revenue than they ever have in company history. They're bigger than they've ever been as far as just being a pop culture phenomenon. This is WWE at its peak, and we are witnessing it. And the idea that you could not only, just about a month ago, have CM Punk come in, but now add Mercedes Moné to that already stacked roster, It is an insane thought to think that like this could happen. Now, if you want to talk about like what's better for professional wrestling, I think it would be better if Mercedes like ended up in AEW or say New Japan, because at the end of the day, she is one of those like once in a generational like superstars, for lack of a better term. Like she almost transcends wrestling in many ways. So it would be ideal for someone to have her so that their company or like other wrestling could be propped up. At the same time, this is a decision that Mercedes is going to have to make. And I think that if you're Mercedes, man, like you have more than earned your way and earned the right to say, I don't want that contract. I want a bigger one, and leverage both sides against each other. Like that's the good thing about having multiple wrestling companies that are profitable and big time, for lack of a better term. Not only are there more options for wrestling fans to watch the wrestling they want to, there's more options for professional wrestlers to get paid and perform their craft in the way they want to. And sometimes that means like, hey, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money. Or sometimes that means they are there to be creatively satisfied. Like whatever it is, there are more options for wrestlers these days. And Mercedes, as I said before, has more than earned her right to decide her own future and control her own fate in that. As far as what I think will happen, again, this is not a knowledgeable or insider take. This is just me shooting from the hip, giving you my thoughts, my analysis. What I will say is it really looks like the tide is turning, or has already turned, honestly, as far as which company has the momentum in favor of WWE, because you're seeing a lot of people come over to WWE. I just think that right now, with Triple H being the head honcho and being in charge, there's a lot that's enticing about joining WWE at this time. So I really do think that that she is more likely to end up in WWE than AEW at this point. And again, this could change. Like we're all basing this off of the information that we have available now, and the information could change, minds could change. There's so much else that could happen. But I really think like with her injury like coming, or with her timetable for her injury ending soon, and the Royal Rumble just around the corner, Florida's gonna be rocking if Sasha Banks makes her return at the Royal Rumble. That would be an epic, epic moment for WWE. But who knows what's gonna happen? We got a lot of time between now and then to figure this out, speculate, and talk about professional wrestling. Let me know what you guys think. Is Mercedes going to go back to WWE? Will she go to AEW? Will she stay in New Japan? Will she do something else? Let me know in the comments section below. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released.